Hey guys, Zennosh here, and today in this video of Exos Heroes, I am here to present you guys what you have been longing so far, a tier list by nation. How to form a team depending on the nation so that you can be very effective in the Zennosh tenure battles and possibly defeating your opponents out there and being a little bit strategical and calculative in how to approach your opponents out there. Alright, so let's get this started. And before that one, I would really love to give a very big shout out to Siki, who actually came up with this amazing Eden tier list 1.0, and I think it's really good, very well thought and very well placed, and I'm here to explain it to you guys, like why he has placed certain hero units to their respective tiers in the particular nation tier list. Alright, so let's get this started. First of all, we are going to start with the Greenland, which is obviously gonna be the most prioritized, or let's say the most frequently seen team in the Zennosh tenure battles. Right, so let's get it on. First, definitely the main core unit is going to be Fate Core Battery. When it comes to the Greenland, she's the general and she's the one who actually carries the whole burden of entire team. The main core units is going to be the Fate Core Battery and the Fate Core Rera. Fate Core Battery, she provides +1 mana to the front row alloys, and she also is the one who is the responsible factor for Tranquil Mark effect, with which Fate Core Ulum and Fate Core Rera can go berserk against the opponents out there. Alright, and Fate Core Rera being the fastest unit in the game as well, and under the Tranquil Mark effect, she can recover 100% of her health back to back right away, and thanks to Battery, she can also deal massive damage against the opponents, whether it be the single target nuke or the AoE damages, and it really does hurt the opponent real bad. Okay, so that's gonna be it, guys. And when we are actually forming the team around the Greenland, definitely the Fate Core Battery and Fate Core Rera is gonna be must. They are compulsory when it comes to offensive as well as the defensive strategy. And the next hero unit that you would really want to place in your team is gonna be the Gold Fate Core Tantala. This old chubby little duty is the one who is gonna make sure that your units survive. With him in your team, definitely it's gonna be very hard for other opponents out there to one-shot your units, and definitely it's a really great aid out there. Okay, Fate Core Tantala protects your key units like Iris, Battery, and Rera from getting focused down. So that's what the Fate Core Tantala is out there for. Next is gonna be the Fate Core Talia. Fate Core Talia just provides a lot of sustenance and a lot of bulkiness to the team right away. So amazing heal, which definitely provides a lot of assistance to the Fate Core Tantala and thus to the entire team as well in a whole. Okay, Fate Core Talia has just revolutionized the game in terms of really massive healing out there. With her around, definitely it's gonna be really hard for your opponent to pick off your alloys one by one. Next is gonna be the Fate Core Iris. Come on, she's gonna be the mana battery. With her being around, definitely your Fate Core Battery and Fate Core Iris are gonna be able to keep on spamming their AoE skills over and over again, and it's gonna really help the Fate Core Tantala as well, because he also has that AoE skill. Right, so Fate Core Iris mainly for the mana battery, and also the next thing is to counter the fast guards in your units in case something goes southways. Okay, next is gonna be the Black Fate Core Ramsey, or let's say the fast guardian. First of all, he's a fast guardian unit, and next thing, he's definitely out there to nullify the heal effect. Alright, and with his nullify heal, you will be able to go hard against the stall meta team compositions who are so focused mainly on healing their alloys out there. Okay, so that's what the Fate Core Ramsey is out here for, and these are the S tier units, and you can actually create your team around these hero units to actually become very effective in the battlefield. And in the A tier comes the Fate Core Ulum. Well, if you are really looking forward for a very amazing style meta team composition, having like Fate Core Tantalo, Fate Core Ulum, and Fate Core Talia in your team is gonna be so irritating to the opponents out there right off the bat. Okay, if you just want to really create a very sturdy style meta with this type of team composition out here. The next is gonna be the B tier hero units, and the first one that we can actually start talking about is gonna be the Fate Core Shell and the Fate Core Jinai. Alright, it's just that, like, if you are going to use both of these compositions, the main problem that you are gonna face is that there is not gonna be no healing at all. Okay, and without healing, it can be quite problematic out there. But if you have them in your team, definitely they provide a very offensive ability to your team. You can actually start oppressing your opponents real fast. If you can actually wrap up the battle pretty soon, definitely Fate Core Jinai and the Fate Core Shell can be a really great help because of the extra turn plus mana boost plus attack boost and status effect removal and plus so many things out there, while oppressing your opponents in terms of attack speed thanks to the Fate Core Jinai and charming them, and also like reducing their attack by a massive proportion. Oh my god, they can actually be a really really great help in pressing the opponents right away swiftly. Okay, but if you cannot make a swift work of the opponents, then well, things can actually go southwards real fast. Next is going to be the Fate Core Garf and the Fate Core Radley. Well, you can actually use both of them really nice in order to actually provide a massive buff of like you know, the defensive buff. Like let's say Fate Core Radley can actually provide massive boost of health and defense stats to the entire team, and that can make your team very very bulky and unkillable indeed. Use his skill 2 times and then your team is gonna be so protected all the time. Alright, his buffs are so massive it actually feels like as if he's healing the team. That's how good he is. The only problem is that like the barrier effect, thanks to the Vanguard effect, alright, it can actually be countered by Fate Core Iris, and that can actually work a little bit counterproductive. So that's why they are in the B tier right now. Alright, so if you are actually going to design your team around the Greenland setup, then for the Greenland, you know, like in the mirror match, it's gonna be like same, okay, meaning like your hero units need to excel against your opponents in terms of attack speed. Like the one who has the faster Fate Core Rera and Fate Core Tandala is the one who is actually going to have upper hand in the battle. Alright, and next is gonna be the Northbound Frosty. It's actually unfavored because the Fate Core Valentina in the Northbound Frosty team is like a ticking time bomb, and if she actually makes your mana dry, if she sucks out your mana real hard, then well, it can be really really bad, guys, because you are actually really depending upon those units who really heavily depends upon the mana. Okay, so in that case, if your mana is gonna be sucked out dry, you are going to really face a very massive disadvantage out there against the Northbound Frosty team, and you will be just stalled out very bad. Next is going to be the versus Wasted Red. So can be kind of tricky depending on how much damage you can do and how tanky their units are, because Wasted Red, when we are talking about the Fate Core Garf and the Fate Core Radley team, they are really built around their tankiness. They are very very bulky units, and it's really really important in order to really one-shot them out right away, especially Fate Core Radley. If you cannot do that, things can go really southwards real fast. It can be really really hard. Okay, so it's a little bit like evenly matched up team out there against the Wasted Red. When you are actually talking about the Lenombe, it's pretty much really favored, because guess what, guys, for the Lenombe team, like let's say Raquel Baraka, it's gonna be really hard for them to actually nuke your characters from here, because they are also kind of really hard on hard, especially if you have Fate Core Tantalo, Fate Core Talia and Fate Core Ulum team. Let them keep on kicking you all day long and they will not even be able to make a single scratch. That's how hard your team is actually gonna be out there. Alright, so that's gonna be it. Now let's talk about the Northbound Frosty team. Alright, let's see what they are really made of. The core team is definitely going to be the Fate Core Shufrak and Fate Core Valentina. That's what the people are really afraid of. Fate Core Valentina, when she is in the team with effect of the Fear of Abyss, thanks to the Fate Core Shufrakan, what's going to happen is that like she is going to annihilate all the opponents in terms of mana. Okay, she's just going to remove all the mana that the opponent really has, and she's gonna make them unable to recover any mana for the next 10 turns. That's brutal. Okay, that's really brutal. You can actually dominate your opponents in terms of the mana utilization. Okay, what happens is that if your opponent doesn't have any mana at all in order to come back or make it back against you, then well, you can actually just stall them out. They will only be forced to use the basic attacks, with which it's gonna be no damage. I mean, like, basic attacks in this game usually are very very pathetic, man. So just making your opponents to resort only to their basic attack is so effective strategy. Alright, where your team are very very safeguarded from the heavy incoming damage from the opponents out there. So that's why the Fate Core Shufrakan and Fate Core Valentina teams are pretty much feared. The only problem is that like Fate Core Valentina, she is very slow, okay, and she's very squishy as well. And that is also the reason why they really do not do good against the Lenombe team, where there are so many good single target nukers. Alright, and if someone actually gets rid of the Fate Core Valentina right away, things can go southwest real fast. Next is going to be the Fate Core Tantalo. Alright, so what's up with the Fate Core Tantalo is that like, hey, our Fate Core Valentina, it's so squishy. So guess what, guys, we need some stability, right? And yeah, the Fate Core Tantalo just kicks in to provide some more stability to the team. Guess what, if the opponent is actually going to land the critical hit, then at that time the critical damage will just feel like a normal damage, because he's going to reduce the incoming critical damage by 300% and provides that damage immunity for one time under the impact from critical hit, and that makes the sustenance of your team magical. Okay, so that's why Fate Core Tantala is very vital for your team if you really want to make your team very sustainable. Next is going to be the Fate Core Iris. Come on, wouldn't you really want your team to actually keep on using their skills over and over again? Fate Core Iris is out here as a mana battery. She just enables your team to keep on using the massive amazing AoE skills over and over again, even including the nuke of the Fate Core Valentina out there. Alright, so the mana thing out there ongoing, it's going to be quite important. And well, obviously sometimes if you are actually going to fight against the fast guardians, thanks to the fear abyss, things can go southwest real fast if it does not trigger right with the fast guardians. So in that case as well, Fate Core Iris actually comes out to be a really important character, because in order to counter the fast guardians, Fate Core Iris is very essential indeed to actually get rid of those dragon barriers and actually penalizing them with massive defense debuff. Okay, next is going to be the Dorka. Dorka is out here because guess what, guys? Looking into this team, this main team is not really excelled to actually have a lot of attack stat, and in that case, the plain healing of the Dorka actually beats the Fate Core Talia right away. Because like Dorka really do have the problem with her attack stats. She's a machine element hero, and I mean like this chaos type hero, and she really do have quite low attack stats compared to other offensive type units. And if the attack stats of your hero units are like below 6,000 points, then well, you might actually want to use Dorka for the maximum effectiveness. Okay, and that's gonna be it, guys. With Dorka being around, definitely your team will actually enjoy better, you know, like survivability out there, especially with Fate Core Tantala being around. Fate Core Tantala and Fate Core Dorka is gonna be a very good combination to actually make your team work like magic. And next is going to be the Gold Fate Core Talia. So what's up with her is that if somehow you actually resort to using offensive unit like let's say Fate Core Brook right over here, who actually excels in higher attack stats, right? In that case, definitely Fate Core Talia will come into the play in order to provide more sustenance in your team, because at that time Fate Core Dorka, or let's say our Dorka, will not be able to do that. Sorry, I keep on telling Fate Core, oh my god, Dorka still doesn't have a really good legit Fate Core, though yes, she has this one orange Fate Core, right? So yeah, I'm not actually really that you know, like incorrect if I have to say Fate Core Dorka, right? Anyways, that set aside, Fate Core Talia is out there if you actually resort to using offensive unit like Fate Core Brook out here, who can actually deal amazing single target nuke with a lot of reset, and she is very effective in the team to actually pick up the opponents one by one. Next going to be the Black Fate Core Ramsey, or let's say the Fast Guardian Ramsey, to nullify the heal effects of the opponents so that you can actually nuke the opponents even better, so that the opponents will have no time to recover their health and they will actually die out one by one. He is like an offensive unit out there, guys. Next is going to be the Fate Core Garf. I mean, like, Fate Core Garf is there to provide plain plus 20% HP and defense boost to the entire team, right? And yeah, that's all there is to it. Next is going to be the Gold Fate Core, this Bathu right over here. Well, with her being around, definitely it will be a little bit more easier for you guys to counter the Lenombe team. Yes, the battery is a really good counter for Lenombe team, guys, thanks to the Triangle Mar effect, and especially when you are actually trying to focus in that Fate Core Jeon, who actually keeps on triggering that extra turn effect, right? With thanks to the Triangle Mar effect, things really do not go the way the Lenombe team actually want it to be. So if you are really trying to fight against like Raquel, Baraka, Jeon, and so on and on, Fate Core Battery is going to be a really good pick. But for most of the cases, Fate Core Battery might actually be not really that helpful at all. Okay, next is going to be the Fate Core Lepin out here, guys. If you have Fate Core Lepin in your team, mostly the people would really want to focus on her instead of Fate Core Valentina, because Fate Core Lepin, even if the opponent kills all of your allies, if the Fate Core Lepin is the one who is who is alive at the last, she is going to be able to revive all the allies right away. And not only that one, she's also going to provide one-time damage immunity to them right away. So yeah, she's like a very big threat out there. So in order to just get rid of that factor, people might not actually want to focus on the Fate Core Valentina, and boom, there we go, guys. Fedco Valentina will have that chance to just suck the mana dry out from the opponents out there. Okay, Fedco Lepin is like a really good decoy out there. Next is going to be the Fedco Degas. Well, he's a very amazing tank, but the thing is that like with so amazing broken tank around, he is actually having some identity crisis. Alright, so that's gonna be it. Looking into the matchups, if you are going to fight against the Greenland hero units, it's gonna be totally favored, especially if you are going to make your Fedco Valentina go off. Things will be really on your hands because like Greenland really do depend upon their burst attacks, their AoE attacks, and so on and on, which really requires a massive level of mana. And if you are just ripping them out of their mana, you can actually just stall them out one way or another, and their normal attack is just gonna like tickle you. Alright, next is going to be the Northern Frosty team. It's gonna be like mirror match, because obviously we are talking about the Northern Frosty team, right? And in this case, the one who has the faster Tantalo and Valentina is the one who is favored the most. Okay, meaning like if you can actually suck the mana dry out of the opponent right away as soon as possible rather than the opponents out there, definitely you will be more favored. So in this case, you have to prioritize the Dorka, Iris, and Valentina. Next is going to be the Wasted Red. If you are going to fight against the Fedco Garf and the Fedco Radley team, you really have to make sure that you have to get rid of Radley right away, because like if the Fedco Radley goes right off the bat, things can be a little bit hard later on. Okay, but it's kind of a little bit favored as well, because like if you're Fedco Radley really does need a lot of mana. I mean, like for his burst effect, his skill 2, he needs 4 mana at least, right? And if you are going to suck his mana dry out, Radley, one way or the another, he's just gonna go down. So that's why it's gonna be a little bit easier to handle the Fedco Garf and the Fedco Radley team. And when we are talking about the Lenombe team, it's a little bit unfavored because we have got some squishy hero units out here, and Lenombe hero units are really designed to go with fast and amazing burst attacks on a single target. And if they actually get rid of your Fedco Valentina or Fedco Iris right away, things can go southways real fast. Okay, next is going to be the Wasted Red. Let's talk about this Fedco Garf and Fedco Radley series. Okay, obviously the main core unit of this team is going to be the Fedco Garf and the Fedco Radley, and with the synergy effect, Fedco Radley can also provide barriers to the alloys out there, which can provide a better sustainability to the team. But main thing what I'm really talking about right over here is that Fedco Radley with his skill 2 can provide massive health and defense boost out there. To start with, he actually just only provides plus 20% of about 20% of HP and defense boost, right? But if you keep on improving his level, his stats, and so on, he can actually improve the, or let's say boost or buff the attack, the defense and the HP stat of the entire allies by more than like 100 or 200%. So that's a lot that you are actually looking forward to. Okay, and his buffs are so amazing that it feels like as if he's healing the team. Okay, that's how good it is. Just try him out. All right, Fedco Radley, amazing unit. Especially with the Fedco Garf around, and Fedco Garf really does provide that plus 20% and plus 20% defense boost to the entire allies on top of that one. So you are actually looking forward for a lot of HP and defense out here. Yeah, and they are really catered to stall out the opponents. And next is going to be the Fedco Annie. Fedco Annie is very crucial out here because, well, we have Fedco Garf, and Fedco Garf requires 4 mana for his skill 2, which is the main bread and butter of this whole set, right? And Fedco Annie just enables that one. Fedco Annie provides the plus 3 mana to the fastest unit in the team, and Fedco Radley, yeah, he has very fast speed, and thanks to that one, Fedco Garf can actually unleash his skill 2 right away as soon as the battle starts, and that's what the Fedco Annie provides. And also the next thing is that Fedco Annie provides plus 2 times, 2 turns of invincibility to the Fedco Radley, and thanks to that one, Fedco Radley can actually survive until he uses his skills 2, because like if he's not going to be able to use his skill 2, he's pretty much useless. Alright, and Fedco Annie is just gonna make sure that Fedco Radley survives and also uses his skill 2. This is going to be the Fedco Iris. Fedco Iris is out there to make sure that your Fedco Annie, Fedco Garf, Fedco Radley especially will keep on using those amazing high mana attacks over and over again, especially the skill 2 of Radley. So Fedco Rera is out, Fedco Iris, sorry about that, I just got a little bit confused out there. Fedco Iris is out here to provide that extra mana plus a protection, just a little bit of protection against the fast guardian units. Alright, next going to the Fate Core Valar. Okay, Fate Core Valar is out here to mainly provide a really good defensive protection to the entire team in a very indirect way. How? See, is actually going to decrease the attack stats of the opponents in a huge proportion. That means like your opponent will have so hard time in one-shotting your allies. Okay, that means your team is going to be so intact, it's gonna be unkillable. With Fate Core Valar being around, it's gonna be so hard for the opponents to kill your allies, your teammates, and your team is just gonna stall the crap out of the opponents out here. Alright, so that's what the Fate Core Valar is out here. She is the very amazing anti-one-shot unit, alright, for the team. And next is going to be the A-tier hero units out here, and that's going to be the Fate Core Talia first. When we are talking about the Fate Core Talia, she is really meant for the sustenance of the team, alright? If you really want to have that extra healing effect, just in case, then you have Fate Core Talia, alright? Next is going to be the Fate Core Ranger. If you somehow you just want to go really offensive against opponents, and especially if you are going like Wasted Red versus Wasted Red, and at that time you definitely want to make sure that the another Wasted Red team is going to go down real fast, and in that time definitely Fate Core Ranger is going to be really great help, because if you can actually just like make the opponent team unrecoverable, or let's say unable to heal their own health, then at that time definitely your team is going to have more advantage, right? Next is going to be the Dorga. Just in case if you want the passive heal per turn every freaking time, then well, Dorka is just gonna kick in and help your team even further. Okay, and looking and judging into these conditions, you can see that like there are very few units that might actually surpass the attack stat of the Dorka, so definitely her heal is going to be quite effective out here. And finally it's gonna be the Fate Core Magi, which is out there if you just want an extra first guardian unit to make an impact out there. Alright, I would say Fate Core Magi can actually be placed in B tier. I mean, like, not someone to really brag about, I would say. Next is going to be the matchup. So if you are going to go against the Greenland team, it's kind of favored, because it's going to be so hard for the Greenland team to just keep on bursting you out. Okay, it's so hard, guys, because your team is really bulky. All right, really bulky. Next is going to be the Northbound Frosty team. It's kind of like unfavored. Why? Because like the Val team, man, if they are just going to suck your mana dry out, things can be really hard, because at that time definitely your Radley will not be able to keep on with his skill 2, and no more that HP and defense buff, and well, you might be actually picked up one by one. Next is gonna be the versus Wasted Red. That's a mirror match. Usually the faster and invested Rodley wins. Yes, the Fate Core Rodley is the key factor, and if you make him faster thanks to the signature force and so on, definitely your team will have better advantage. And if the opponent is much better with their Fate Core Rodley, then well, you are at disadvantage. Next is gonna be the with Lenombe, and it's kind of favored. Why? Because the Lenombe hero units are pretty squishy, and on top of that one, even they try so hard, they will not be really able to one-shot you out real good, because of the Fate Core Radley around here, guys. Fate Core Radley, who just provides massive buff of the HP and the defense boost. It's just so hard for the Lenombe team to actually one-shot you out right away, and if they cannot one-shot you, they are useless. Okay, so that's gonna be it, guys. And now let's talk about the Lenombe team. Finally, oh my god, my beloved Fate Core Raquel is out here, and let's talk about him, like why he's so special out here, right? Mainly, if you are talking about this team, the main core unit is going to be the Fate Core Raquel and Fate Core April. I really wanted it to become Fate Core Raquel and Fate Core Jeon, but seems like it's not the way anymore. Okay, Fate Core April is actually taking up the place. Why? Because she actually provides a massive offensive power for the entire team to deal a massive damage against the front row opponents, especially those tanking units, right? And this is also the reason why they have actually been quite really good at making the battle really short and fast. It's just that like Fate Core April is not yet super duper buffed in order to make sure to kill out the Fate Core Tantalo, or let's say team based on Tantalo real fast. That's why they are not really favored against the Greenland team. Alright, but when we are talking about the other nation team formations, thanks to the Fate Core April, you will be able to keep on one-shotting the units one after another real fast, because she just boost the attack, or let's say the damage done against the front row opponents real hard, and she's also really good healer by herself. Yes, she is the one who is going to sustain the team and also make sure that your team actually deals a higher damage against the opponents. So that's the Fate Core April out there for you guys, and it's gonna be the Fate Core Raquel. I mean, like, come on, everybody knows Raquel, right? He's a very offensive unit. Not only that, he has the single target burst attack, he also going to improve the attack stat, the attack speed stat, and the hit stat of entire allies. Okay, and he also has that awakening status effect, with which he is going to be invincible for the next 4 turns, where he can actually just turn the tables around. That can be a possibility, and he also improves his critical hit by a massive proportion. I would say that's about 360 points if I'm not wrong. Okay, I think 360 points, right, of critical hit boost or something like that. Alright, and that's massive. And he also provides +1 mana to the back row ally. That's very crucial for improving your DPS output. Alright, and that set aside, now let's start talking about the other hero units out here. The first one being the Fate Core Iris. Okay, the Fate Core Iris is very essential out here if you really want to get extra mana. Okay, because like you really need a lot of mana to keep like nuking the opponents out there, and she does provide that one, and an extra protection against the first guardian hero units. All right, usually you really don't require with that one because these are the single target like dealers, but just in case she's mainly here for the mana purposes. Next is going to be the Black Fate Core Baraka. Black Fate Core Baraka, oh my god. Okay, I finally realized, okay, why he's so powerful. First thing first, there is a core memory boost. Next is going to be the Blue Fate Core boost, thanks to Blue Fate Core Baraka and the Blue Fate Core Raquel. Okay, these 2 hero units actually make it so good for our Black Fate Core Baraka. Black Fate Core Baraka just gets a lot of buffs from them. I mean, like, even the writer himself has made it so clear. Core memory and double dips on both Blue Baraka and Blue Raquel for the stats buff. That actually makes our Black Fate Core Baraka a very powerful unit, and he can actually dish out some amazing damage out there, even though he does not have a burst effect on his skills. If only he had burst effect on his second active skill or first active skill, things could have been much better, wouldn't it be? Okay, so that's gonna be it, guys. And now let's talk about the A-tier units out here. The first one is going to be the Fate Core Tantalo. Oh my god, look at this, guys. One thing that you must have realized by now is that your units are very squishy. Alright, and just to provide some extra, like layer of survivability, or let's say durability to your team, then definitely the Fate Core Tantalo is going to be a really great help to your team, just to provide some extra protection, and that your allies will not be picked up really fast, or they will not be really erased really that fast. Fate Core Tantalo is gonna be out there, guys, because he's just going to reduce the incoming critical damage by 300%, providing that damage immunity effect. Come on, it's so good. Next is going to be the Fate Core Morris. Oh my god, the single target damage that he can deal is so freaking amazing. That's a lot of damage that you are going to look for. He's a banger hero as well, and thanks to that, the hard strike, same goes with the Fate Core Tantalo. The hard strike is gonna put additional pressure on the opponents out there as well, and he also provides that attack boost to the entire team, and that can be really helpful, guys, if you really want to go really berserk against the opponents out there. Next is going to the Fate Core Jeon. He used to be the main pair with the Fate Core Raquel. Man, it just feels so bad to see him here in the A tier rather than in the S tier. Okay, so what happens with the Fate Core Jeon is that with the Fate Core Raquel being around, if he actually manages to kill the opponent who is disheartened, he keeps on getting extra turn over and over again. The vicious cycle keeps on continuing until he just gets rid of all the opponents out there. That's how good he is, man. Main thing is that his first active skill only costs 1 mana. And there's a 300% damage effect, meaning like he can actually nuke the shit out of the opponent with just 1 mana effect. And thanks to the Fate Core Raquel being around there, he is going to have that 1 mana every freaking time, so he can keep on continuing his barrage of damage over and over again, and that is so cool to see around, guys. Alright, if I were to be me, I would still place my Fate Core Jeon in S tier, like, I just love him too much. Next is going to be the Fate Core Annie right over here, which is the Black Fate Core hero unit. She's mainly here thanks to a Burning Soul effect. The fastest unit, either it be the Baraka or it be the Jeon, okay? She's going to provide more mana to it, and definitely that's going to be really helpful out there. More mana, definitely you will be able to keep on, like continuing with your barrage of nuking damage on the single targets, which is what the Lenombe team is really focused on. Yes, the Lenombe team, when you actually think about it, it's really about offensive power. They are a very offensive team, and they are really meant to dish out a heavy damage against the single target opponents, and that requires a lot of mana as well, and that is the reason why the Fate Core Iris and the Fate Core Annie is gonna be a very important units out there. Whereas for the Fitcore Baraka himself, thanks to his plunder effect, he's going to steal 1 mana from the opponent, as well as providing +2 mana to any back row alloy out there, whether it be the Raquel or whether it be the Baraka. They can actually dish out very heavy damage. Okay, so that's why Baraka is now placed in S tier. So I'm actually getting the point, like why Fitcore Black Fitcore Baraka is actually getting a lot of attention. Next is going to be the B tier, guys, and Schmidt is here. Right, it's just out there to make sure that if if in case the opponent actually makes some stupid mistake, then he's just going to provide that extra turn to the allies out there right away. And having that extra turn can be so helpful to this Lenombe team right off the bat, guys. But anyways, that is a little bit conditional thing, and you might not be able to, like, how to say this, utilize the Schmidt to its maximum level. But anyways, no worries, that Fitcore Schmidt is going to come up real soon, and with that one, things might actually change in the games real good, alright? Anyways, let's wait for that one. And now let's talk about the matchups. Versus Greenland, it's really unfavored, guys, because like the Greenland hero units are pretty much very bulky, and to one-shot them it's gonna be quite hard. And if you cannot one-shot with the Lenombe team, the Lenombe teams are a little bit, they're effectiveless. Okay, and he's going to the North 1 Frosty team, and it's kind of favored, guys, because you can see that like in North 1 Frosty there are a lot of squishy hero units, and you can actually just one-shot them right away, especially the Fitcore Iris and Fitcore Valentina. If you just one-shot them out, things are gonna be looking so good ahead. Next is going to do the Wasted Raid. Okay, in Wasted Raid, it's kind of favored as well. Once Iris and Rudley goes down, it's pretty easy to finish the rest up, but Rudley's is the primary target. Okay, if the Rudley actually goes with S2 real fast, things can be real bad. Okay, but we have our Black Fitcore Baraka right over here in order to just one-shot that Rudley right away. If you cannot one-shot Rudley, things could actually go real bad. But thanks to a lot of the core memory, the blue Fitcore buff, and so on, things are actually looking really good. Alright, because like if you can actually manage to do that critical damage, thanks to the burning soul effect of the Fitcore Annie right over here, if you can just manage to land the critical hit, there is a very high probability that you are just going to one-shot the Fitcore Rudley as well as the Garf right over there. Okay, so that can actually be the possibility out there. Alright, so just look into it. So Rudley is the primary target. Next is gonna be the Lenombe, and it's a mirror match. Basically, the faster team wins. Okay, so you have to make sure that your Baraka is faster than the opponent's Baraka. Your Raquel is faster than the opponent's Raquel. If that's going to be the case that you are going to fulfill, then well, things are really going to be on your side. But if your team is slower than the opponent's, then well, like prepare to face the wrath of the opponent. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Anyways, those are the teams. Obviously, there are some nations that are missing out here, but anyways, they are not actually like worth mentioning out here, guys. Okay, because well, like they are just so below the low tier. Okay, and it's better for the Fitcore Gina and the Fitcore Shell to actually work on with the Bathory team rather than on their own team for now, for the time being. Let's wait for the other buffs and let's see what's gonna happen out. All right. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today, guys. What do you think about this tier list out here? Are you really satisfied with whatever I have explained it so far and whatever that is mentioned in this tier list? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have any other doubts, any other questions, queries, insights, opinions, then please let me know in the comment section below as well. If you can actually contribute your points, your feedbacks to me as well as the community, that would be really great. We all are learning, right? Let's learn together, let's enjoy this game together, and let's have fun together until the end. Okay, and that's gonna be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, a big shout out to this Siki who actually came up with this Eden tier list 1.0, and we will be looking forward to Eden tier list version 2.0 soon over. Okay, so that's gonna be it, guys. See you guys in the next video.